If you told me when I uploaded my first video to this channel that within a year I would be celebrating a 5-digit subscriber count, thousands of views per video, and a fairly active community on Discord, I'd probably have told you, what are you doing in my house? How did you get in here? Then I'd phone the police and it'd be a whole thing. Then maybe a few days later, I'd probably then just not believe you and wondering what that crazy person was doing in my house. And yet that crazy person that you are, who is probably still in jail, was correct. And it's still very much a surprise for me. Now that has been exactly 1 year, I thought it'd be a good idea to go through and just talk about how the channel's been going, what the channel is going to do next year, and kind of just have a retrospective as well as answer some of the questions you've asked me. This is probably going to be a slightly different video to usual, probably a bit more off the cuff, probably a little less edited, just to kind of get through some of these questions and just to chat about the whole channel, how I think it's gone, how the hobbying's been going, etc, etc. I mean, I can't overstate how thankful I am that I've got to this point. I never would have thought I would even be remotely close. My plan originally was to get to about 1,000 subscribers in a year. That would have made me very, very happy, but the fact that I've got to 11,500 now is insane to me. Let's get some of your questions. Some of these are actually quite good. I'll answer them in part here, but some of these can be a full video, so thanks for the free content, suckers. Paul, will you never have a fully built, painted 2,000 point army of Screaming Ravens? I think you're trying to trick me with a double negative here. I will eventually have a 2,000 point army painted and built of Screaming Ravens. I'm very close to having it fully built. Obviously, none of it's painted, but it will happen. And it's one of the things I think across this year that I do want to actually get more involved in is actually building up these armies and actually having them painted. Did making the channel motivate you to paint or play more? In some respects, yes. Sometimes I have an idea for a video which requires me to paint, or for example, trying to paint Magnus on stream, those kind of things. I think I probably would have played just as much as I did anyway, because I don't play often enough and it's kind of just trying to find time to do it. But the fact that I'm making videos off it does make me play more. It doesn't really make me play more smart or better. It just makes me more conscious about the kind of things I could learn from the game and therefore make a video of it. One of the things really with this channel is now every time I paint or play or do anything, I'm now just thinking about content, which probably isn't very fun for my opponent when I'm just like, this makes content. And they just go, all right, yeah, great, Paul. Why don't you actually just roll your fucking dice? Skaven in 40k, yes or no? Why do so many people spend hours and hours assembling hundreds of models but refuse to paint a single one? Painting is time-consuming and tricky. Building is not that hard. And if you're like me and really kind of want to play the game, that's kind of the main focus you have, building stuff is way better because you can get stuff onto the table. It won't be painted, but at least you'll be able to play with it. Painting takes a lot of time. If I had to paint all the stuff I wanted to play with, I would never have played a game. That's probably why people actually refuse to paint models. It's tricky. You could ruin the model fairly easily if you're not confident with it. So yeah, I can definitely see why that's a problem. What's your favorite book of 40k if you've read some? I've only read one, Infinite and Divine, and it's very good. So that one. You can start a brand new army right now. What would it be and why? Age of Sigmar or 40k? To be honest, I actually really have no idea. Maybe Soul Black Gravelords, just having one of those appear in front of me would be great, but I actually have no idea. Good question. I'll have to think about it. Which is probably the point in this video, but I'm trying to do this quickly, so I've not really thought about it, but I'll probably make another video about this. So I'm giving you a non-answer, which is probably not what you're looking for. Man, I'm a great YouTuber. How are you? I'm good, thank you. How are you? When are you going to finish painting all your models? I'm kind of just hoping the heat death of the universe comes first. When I take my ADHD meds, I can't paint anymore due to excessive sweating. Do you have similar issues? It sounds like a question for a professional psychiatrist rather than me, but I don't get excessive sweating as a side effect from my ADHD medication. So I would encourage you to talk to your doctor about that, not a random guy on YouTube. Have you ever been interested in Blood Bowl? If so, what team would you get into if you haven't got one already? Blood Bowl does look fun. I'm always interested in trying new stuff. I'd probably play something like Gits or Vampires, because they've got some new vampires. That sounds fun, but not something I'm looking at the moment, but maybe something in the future. That does kind of bring me on to one of the things I do want to do for this channel is kind of explore more things outside of just Warhammer 40k, Age of Sigmar, other Games Workshop games, games outside of Games Workshop, because people have been asking about that. So, and even stuff outside of just mini painting in general. The original point of this channel wasn't just for Warhammer, obviously kind of evolved to be mostly Warhammer, but I'd like to branch out in this second year, start exploring more things. Obviously, to what success, I don't know, because if I do more things, I'm going to have less time to actually paint the stuff, which is the thing that people are asking about. So who knows? But it's definitely something where within the next year I want to expand my horizons a bit. Speaking of which, have you considered playing Kill Team? Because then you could play many armies at once with a low number of models. I have played Kill Team in the past. I really enjoy Kill Team. I lost every game because I'm bad at it. But yeah, very low model count. So I think it's a really good way to get into the game for newer players is to just build up a Kill Team and play Kill Team because it's very, very fun. Again, with the limited game time I have, it's a case of what game do I want to play. What is your opinion on my idea? Trazyn should be able to transport 200 points worth of anything except Necron units. I do kind of like the idea of like Umbralific Crystal type thing which transports your enemy. That sounds like a fun idea. It just sounds like something Trazyn would do. Balance-wise, no idea, but it sounds fluffy and it sounds cool, so I like it. Who's your favorite Primarch? I don't know if you already told us, but let's just ask. Magnus. He just looks the coolest. Why am I not allowed to play against a painted army? Yeah, that's what you sound like, Steve. Is it enough for you to win 99% of our games? Oh, look at me. I've got 2 full glass cabinets full of painted armies that I can play. Yeah, we're not all as cool as you, Steve. But also, can I come around and can we play a game? Because it's really fun. Congrats on 1 year. Thank you. Too bad for you, I love the chaotic enthusiasm. Here's my question. Has doing the channel actually helped you paint more minis, defeat your pile of shame? Okay, this is an interesting question. This was one of the ideas I had for this video to start with. No, it actually hasn't. And in some ways, that means my channel has failed. The channel hasn't failed, but the original plan for this was to use these videos to motivate me to paint stuff. That's what the wheel was for. But that first episode where I painted those Reaver jet bikes, the riders still aren't done. And it's been a year. It's such a small thing, and I just still haven't done it because I just haven't had the motivation to do it. You kind of tell after the Incubi video and the Graveguard video, the amount of painting videos I made really dropped off a cliff. As more time, more focus went into actually making the videos, because that was starting to gain success. Something I want to focus on, I want to get a proper fully painted army in the next year. I want to attempt some tournament play, so that's going to be a requirement, so I really need to get a wriggle on. But it's interesting because this channel has started to be less about motivating me to paint and more about motivating other people to paint, which has been very, very good and very useful. So at least I'm putting positive back into the community, but at the expense of I'm not really feeling like painting myself. Maybe it's time to bring the wheel back. I don't know. I just need to get more motivation. What is your favorite bit of absolutely insane lore? Trazyn stole my second question. Good luck. Also, what's this gimmick infringement right here? I'm suing you for everything you're worth, Claystar. To answer your question, I actually don't know that much about the lore. Again, something I want to be able to do for this channel in the next year is learn a lot more about the lore. What's the fastest time for a hidden gromit mug to be discovered? If you're unaware, since about this video, I've been hiding a gromit mug in every single video since then. Because I did it once accidentally, someone pointed it out, and then I thought, well, I'm gonna have to do it in every single one. I said the quickest time has probably been about 5 minutes. The slowest has been over a week. What are your thoughts on Turnip 28, if any? For the past week or two, I've heard loads of stuff about Turnip 28, or at least just the name Turnip 28. I have no idea what it is, so I don't really have any thoughts, but it's something I would explore. Because it seems to be the common thing. I should probably look it up right now and see what it is. Turnip 28 is a tabletop miniatures game about setting into British artist Max Fitzgerald, the world of Turnip for its formation. That looks pretty cool. Do you think it improved in painting, playing, video making, impulse control, etc.? I mean, improvements in video making is kind of up to you. If you think my videos have improved, then great. I think I've gotten better. At least my workflow's a little better, and I think I'm making good jokes here and there, so I think the video making's improved. Painting and playing, I mean, those things will improve as you go on anyway, so I hope I've improved at least a little bit. Impulse control, not really. What kind of hats should I give my orcs? Pirates, top, fedora? So many hats? Yes, all the hats. What is Warhammer for you? What parts of the hobby do you lean towards? What parts don't grip you, and why? I'd say the two main bits that I really lean towards are building and playing. It's well documented the amount of archons I made for Drukhari based on the kit bashes I can do. I do really enjoy that kind of side of it. Making super cool characters with all these interesting parts. I really feel like I'm going to let my creativity shine doing that bit. And then playing the game, because I like the game. I think it's nice and fun. It's tactical. And also during the game, these little interactions that happen, we just kind of have fun with. The Inferno Master that was shot by a knight so hard that he was deleted from existence. The Cyberite that took down a knight only to get it explode in his face, but he still takes the mantle of Knight Killer. Those little interactions and just playing the game, having fun with friends, that's really what Warhammer is to me. As to what parts don't grip me, unfortunately it's the painting. I do enjoy painting, it's just slow, and I'm very impatient. What does it feel like being one of those wholesome miniatures YouTubers?
I don't know. Thanks.
As a fellow hobbyist with ADHD, I'd like to hear your perspective on it. Are there any coping mechanisms that you use to make hobbying with limited executive function easier? And do you think there are upsides to it? Admittedly, you do a whole fucking video on that, or a surprisingly lucrative TikTok career, but still. I kind of have done a video on this already, so if you want to watch that one here. Otherwise, not really. Like, medication is the main thing. So if you have ADHD, you are looking at getting medicated, I absolutely do encourage that. Make sure to take that time to find the right medication for you. You don't want to end up in Sweat City like this guy over here. And as a personal story, the first medication I tried was really, really good, except it was a massive appetite suppressant. And I lost 30 kilograms in 8 months. Doing a lot better now though, so yeah, just make sure you find the right medication for you, and then go watch that video to see some of the things I've tried to do. Which army are you least interested in and why? Imperial Guard. Astra Militarum, whatever you want to call them. Why would I just want to play standard humans, especially in 40k? I could play Space Marines if I wanted to play the human equivalent. So I playing D&D and just shooting human. Oh, you wanted the variant fee. Well, boring. Play something interesting. Play Dragonborn. Be a dragon dude. I'm already a person. Why would I want to play a person? Especially a person in this grimdark 40k hellscape. You're gonna get killed immediately. The only saving grace is I'm not actually part of the military. I mean, who would be insane enough to be part of the British Army and still play Imperial Guard, even though that's basically just playing your own job? Do you have a favorite mini in a factional game you don't currently collect? There is a lot of amazing models in Age of Sigmar. There's too many to count. Age of Sigmar sculpts are beautiful. I don't play it that much, but some of them are just fantastic. And I've been trying to work out maybe ways to get them kit bashed to 40k, but not really happening. I'd say my favorite model, which I've been thinking about trying to turn into a demon reference, is this Sphinx model. It just looks amazing. What are your favorite 3 paints you want other people to try out? I don't even really know if I have 3 favorite paints or any favorite paints, but I really like Pile Glacier. I think it's a really interesting one. I'd like to see what other people can do with it. What's the next game on your radar, assuming you ever get time in your backlog to add another? Do you ever want to get involved in Age of Sigmar? Also, I've got a video coming out soon about another game I'm getting into, which is really good. Which terrible video game are you going to play once you beat Jump King and all of its associated DLC and secret levels? Well, first of all, I'm not doing the DLC and secret levels because fuck that. Secondly, I've got quite a long list of games I want to try on Twitch. I think I'm going to use Twitch for these kind of game challenges. I want to try Nuzlocke. I want to try Season of Trackmania where I go for all the author medals. Things like that. And if you have any other suggestions, let me know. Like Fear and Hunger has been on my radar. That looks quite interesting, if not kind of terrible. So yeah, let me know what you'd want to see. What army do you dislike to play against the most? The ones which were better than me, so basically all of them. How did you come up with a cartoon character? And how did the gromit mug start? Gromit mug started because of the accidental one that I mentioned previously, so from there I just started doing the gromit mug everywhere. How did I come up with the cartoon character? I've always kind of had that idea in the back of my head for this channel, and in starting it I realized that eventually I was going to run out of easily exploitable memes to just post. So I needed some images that I could actually put in there that I could easily use to add context, so that's where I kind of started doing it. It's something I've done for D&D before. When I've been a player, I sometimes doodle like little scenes of the characters with the same style, so it's a style that I've used before. And I figured it just adds something more interesting, and I think it really took off with the Lookout Sir video, and that has kind of cemented that style, which I really enjoy. Also, thank God I'm bald, because hair is impossible to draw with this style. Also, I'm terrible at drawing. One of the other things I actually do want to improve over the next year is my ability to draw, so I might actually try and really focus on improving that. Being a 2D character and not actually having any sort of ability to draw properly means that I can't really turn the character without it looking weird as hell. What do you want from Drukhari and Thousand Sons in 10th edition? For Drukhari, I'd love to see some more witch cult characters, like a witch cult character, like a succubus on bike, succubus on board, that kind of thing. The Thousand Sons, psychic dreadnought, or like a psychic demon engine or something. Favorite thing about 40k as a whole? I think probably the game, although it is just a fun universe. It's about the right mix of serious and goofy, which I do enjoy. There's definitely a lot of stuff you can do with the goofy side of it. What is a man? A miserable pile of secrets. But enough talk. Have at you! Yeah, I'm not a voice actor. What is your favourite character in all of 40k and for what reasons? Trazyn, because he's just so fun. Such a smarmy arsehole. Do you have any regrets from your first year in the hobby / YouTube? Is there anything you would have done differently? Do you feel differently about the hobby now after a year, or has your motivation changed? I don't think I have any regrets, to be honest. I think I've done pretty well. Main regret, I think, is probably buying too much, but I've been doing that for years before the channel, so oh well. Feel differently about the hobby now after a year? Motivation's changed slightly, but I think the problem is the motivation's changed not for the right way. The motivation is now more, can I do stuff for content rather than can I do stuff because I want to do it. Again, something I'm still working on, especially with ADHD, is this motivation, making sure I'm doing, focusing on stuff that I do actually want to do, but aren't doing because I'm worried about failure or it taking too long, that kind of stuff. The channel's definitely helped me motivate other people, I think. And I think one of the things that I do enjoy about this channel is seeing all of your progress, all the stuff you're doing and the stories you're telling. So that, I think, is probably the different feeling about the hobby is the actual community part. Why did Magnus do nothing wrong? Why is his fault actually Russ's fault? I actually have no idea. I know Magnus did nothing wrong. I should probably look into it. Maybe I'll make a video about it. Well, that was all the questions. There is one more comment, however. Not a question, but more of an acknowledgement. My girlfriend was into the hobby and game a few years ago. She got into a situation in her life where Warhammer became a trauma for her, where she couldn't even walk into a Games Workshop or local game store. She overheard your content one day when I was listening to a video of yours and she found it hilarious. She connected with you as she has ADHD and could relate to your hobby journey as it was the same as hers. She's back in the hobby and game with Black Templar Force and a newfound enjoyment which would never have been possible without Paula's ballot stuff. You do good work and I wanted to mention how you help folks. As you can probably tell, this is why I'm normally a 2D character. I can't actually frame a shot or, light a shot or anything like that, so apologies for my ugly face. But when I first read this comment, I really didn't know how to react. I've heard, people say that I'm quite relatable and stuff, which I'm happy with, but this is the first time that someone's really told a story about how I've actually positively affected them. So yeah, it was interesting. It's not something I take on board very well, but I'm very, very glad that your girlfriend has, gained something and managed to get back into the hobby through my videos. So yeah, I thought I'd be a bit more kind of personal up front about this because it did kind of affect me in a way that I didn't really think it would. I'm just happy to hear that these stupid videos that I'm making are making a difference in some places. So this first year, and after a year of doing these videos, this is kind of comments that I am so happy to see that have, my videos are making a difference. Maybe not to me, Magnus is still up there, not painted. All those boxes still unpainted, but no, it feels good. It feels good to be catalyst for change for other people. So, from me, personally, from the bottom of my heart, thank you to everyone who has subscribed, tuned in, and watched these videos, and I hope to continue making them for many years to come. That'll be it from me. Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy this, go ahead and like and subscribe, all the YouTube stuff, and I'll see you next time. Thank you very much for watching.